Point Park Hoops aims for gold, the Pittsburgh Penguins skate back home, and a recent passing shocks the world. It's time to come on down to Pioneer Sideline. Good evening and welcome to Pioneer Sideline. I'm McKenna Smith back with another week of sports news. We have the latest Point Park and local news as well as debate about fictional sports. To start, MEI Dallas reports on another victory for the women's lacrosse team.
This past Friday, women's lacrosse brought in its second win. Point Park went up against Lake Erie College at home and won 17-8. The Pioneers were on their way back from a loss against Malone University with determination. Freshman attacker Kylie Leisure said, quote, "After coming off of a loss, we were fueled to beat this team knowing what we needed to change, and went out and did exactly that," end quote. Leisure was a Pioneer leader alongside Andrea Kinger with 6 goals each. The remaining goals came from Elena Zell with 3 and Ava Miller and Graciela Favela each with 1. The game started out a bit even, with Lake Erie and Point Park tied at 4 as the teams headed into the second quarter. Sophomore defender Lexi Spears said, quote, "A tied game is the same as starting the game from the very beginning, and we have a good habit of going hard right off the first whistle," end quote. That proved true through the rest of the game as the women gained momentum and held their lead. The Pioneers won that game 17-8. To follow, the Pioneers will be at home for their next 2 games, the first up against Edinboro on Thursday and the second against Bethany on Saturday. Good luck, Pioneers! From Highmark to the hardwood, let's check in with Ryan Quinn for an update on the women's basketball team. Ryan?
For their regular season finale, the Point Park Pioneers had a non-conference game against the Salem Tigers in Salem, West Virginia. It was a tight back-and-forth score for a majority of the game, with 10 lead changes and the score tied 7 times, but an efficient 70% on the floor for the Pioneers and lockdown defense, having the Tigers being 25% on the field in the fourth quarter, allowed for Point Park to take the lead and never look back, winning 66-56. It was an all-around offensive effort by the team, with 4 Pioneers scoring double digits. Camille Fultz with 19, Alexis Giles with 17, Lucia Hervia with 12, and Cameron Piper with 10. Fultz also had 11 rebounds, getting her second double-double of the season. Someone who's accustomed to getting double-doubles is Elizabeth Boyd, who ranked second in the Mountain East Conference, and is a big reason as to why she received an All-MEC honorable mention. Now comes up the MEC tournament. Point Park came away with the 10 seed, where they will travel to Wheeling, West Virginia to face 7 seed Frostburg State in the first round. The Pioneers will be looking for much needed revenge after losing both times they played the Bobcats and being knocked out of the tournament in the first round last year. The game is scheduled for tomorrow, March 4th at noon. Good luck, Pioneers. Next, back to the desk for McKenna for an update on the men's team.
Point Park men's basketball closed out the regular season on a high note Saturday afternoon, knocking off Salem 77-62 in a non-conference action game. Senior Aiden Anderson delivered a standout performance, pouring in 28 points and pulling down 11 rebounds to score his 5th double-double of the year. He finishes the regular season averaging just 19 points a game. Grant Welch added 13 points and 5 boards, while Greg Williams chipped in 10. Rob Keys and Jaden Davis delivered 9 points each. To round out a balanced offensive effort as a team, the Pioneers shot nearly 47% from the field and connected on 9 shots from beyond the arc. They controlled the boards with a 41-31 rebounding average and assisting on 16 of their 28 made field goals. Salem shot 41% overall but struggled from the 3-point range, going just 4 for 21. Zaki Fallon led Salem with 14 points and Xavier Price added 12 points and 6 rebounds. Now the shift focus to the MEC men's basketball tournament at West Mako Arena in Wheeling, West Virginia. Point Park enters as the 9 seed and will face 8th seeded Davis and Elkins Wednesday night at 8:30. The team split the regular season meetings. The Pioneers dropped the first matchup at home by nearly 30 points, but responded in the rematch with 5 players scoring in double figures. After shocking the conference with their first ever postseason win last year, Point Park will look to make another statement this week. Now that's all for Point Park sports, but we have a whole lot more ahead in this week. In West Virginia, men and women's basketball take on round 1 of the MEC Championships tomorrow. Women's lacrosse looks for yet another win back at home on Thursday against Edinburgh. Then baseball and softball spend the week in Florida, competing in the Russ Mat Tournament and the Spring Games. Tune in for more Pioneer updates right here next week, and as always, go Pioneers! After the break, local news that you don't want to miss. We will be right back. Welcome back. Now Megan Lukic is joining us at the desk to give an update on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Megan?
The Pittsburgh Penguins returned from the 3-week-long Olympic break on Thursday, but the team was hit with some tough news before even hitting the ice for game action. It was announced on Wednesday that captain Sidney Crosby would be out for a minimum of 4 weeks with a lower body injury that was sustained in the quarterfinal round of the Olympics while he was playing for Team Canada. But the absence of their captain has not deterred the Pens so far. Pittsburgh earned 5 out of a possible 6 points in their last 3 games, going 2-0-1 during that span. Following a shootout loss to the New York Rangers on Saturday, the Penguins came back with a major bounce-back performance against the Vegas Golden Knights on Sunday, defeating them 5-0. Pittsburgh got scoring contributions from up and down the lineup, including a goal from rookie Ben Kindle, his 15th of the season, as well as 2 power play goals from Brian Rust and Ricard Raquel. Goaltender Artur Shilov stopped all 22 of Vegas' shots, and he was named the NHL's second star of the week on Monday, going 2-0 over the past week and posting a 0.5 goals against average and .981 save percentage. Pittsburgh currently holds second place in the Metropolitan Division, but they will be greatly tested throughout the month of March as they continue to make a push for the playoffs. According to Tankathon.com, the Penguins have the highest remaining strength of schedule in the NHL, as they are set to face opponents such as the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Carolina Hurricanes, and the league-leading Colorado Avalanche, who they will play twice this month. Now I'm joined by Isaac Graves to dive into more details surrounding the Penguins and the upcoming NHL trade deadline. So Isaac, I wanted to start off with the Penguins' schedule. As I just mentioned, they got some tough opponents coming up, and they're going to be without captain Sidney Crosby for a while. What does the outlook look like for this team in your view right now?
I think the win against Vegas really was promising, and you said there's a lot of tough opponents coming up. You got Carolina 3 times, you got Colorado twice. You still have a game against Vegas in their barn. You have Dallas at home. So it's going to be tough, but the win against Vegas was really promising. So I think that's a good start.
Yeah, and we've got the trade deadline coming up on Friday at 3 p.m. What moves do you expect the Penguins to maybe make? What do you think that they should do? What do you think they shouldn't do maybe?
I think the Sam Girard move was a good first step. I don't think they have to do a lot because they're in a pretty good position. And it's not like there's much I want to give up off the roster. I keep hearing rumors that Anthony Mantha could be on his way out. Stuart Skinner could be on his way out. I would prefer neither of those to happen, but I think just Kyle Dubas has been making some really smart moves lately, so I don't see the roster being too deconstructed as of right now, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and with those key pieces, it's kind of tough thinking about that because Mantha's played so well. Skinner's fit in very well since he was traded earlier in the year, and you don't want to give up those great assets, especially when you're actually in a position to make the playoffs, and you want to be able to give Malkin, Crosby, Letang a chance, at least one more chance at a Stanley Cup. But what about the rest of the league? Who do you think is maybe going to get moved? Who do you think is going to go where? Who's somebody you want to keep an eye on?
I'm paying attention to the selling teams a lot more because we have the Rangers and the Canucks in their respective conferences that are looking like they're going to just fire sale. There's already rumors swirling around the Canucks that Connor Garland is almost certainly on his way out. It sounds like his most likely destination is going to be to the New York Islanders, which is pretty big. You also have Tyler Myers on his way out. For the Rangers, Vincent Trocheck has been coming up in rumors nonstop, so you have him most likely ending up in Minnesota. And there's a lot of names floating around. I couldn't name them all in this short time we have, but there's a lot that we're going to see by Friday.
Yeah, it will certainly be interesting to see how it all plays out. Well, next, more of what's happening in the sports world. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Now Gabe Ebersol at the desk for a historical rookie season happening in the NBA. Gabe?
That's right, McKenna. Charlotte Hornets guard Con Knuppel has raised the ceiling for sharpshooters entering the association. His career-high 8 three-pointers made against the Indiana Pacers may have been just one short of the single-game rookie record, but zoom out to the big picture, people. Only 59 Con-filled contests to capture the rookie record for three-pointers made for a season. His 207th bomb, he vaulted over 2022 Keegan Murray of the Sacramento Kings to top the list. The signs were there for the 4th overall pick out of Duke. Fastest player to 100 threes, fastest player to 200 threes. But Con's contributions aren't just impressive among rookies. He leads the league as a whole this year with 211 buckets from range. Ascended his team, the Hornets are one of the hottest as we speak, and if his ultra-efficient 44% from behind the arc is any indication, the potential Rookie of the Year will be breaking records for years to come. Next up, Luke McKenna is here with me to discuss who we should see bringing home this season's MVP. A lot of different candidates that are valued for different reasons across the league, but the 65-game rule coming into play. I'm curious to see, who do you think is MVP right now?
With the new rule, there's been a lot of injuries this year. You got guys like Jokic, who would be the favorite, and Wemby, who I think to his team is probably the most valuable player. Those guys might not be eligible. Jokic can only miss one more game. So right now, I would say it's Shea, but he's also kind of on the borderline of falling beneath that games required. So could be anyone right now.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a race that has an asterisk next to it, especially if a few more of the guys up top you mentioned go down. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander not playing tonight due to injury management. Curious that the 65-game rule was meant to prevent that, but I also think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is deserving of the MVP. I've seen his team playing without J-Dub most of the year. Chet Holmgren, really not much of a shot creator. We see it like we're going to see it tonight against the Chicago Bulls. And SGA really is the driving force of that offense. He's a very capable defensive player. And once again, had the Thunder off to one of the hottest starts in NBA history with his number 2 option missing. A guy who has been consistent on a team that has been largely moving pieces throughout the year. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is very much deserving of the MVP. But I'm curious what you think for Jokic especially. What do you think about
I think if Jokic was healthy, I think he's been the best player. I think the Nuggets are not even close to the same team without him. I don't think they're a playoff team without Jokic. Whereas I think the Thunder, if they're healthy, even without SGA, they could still do something in the playoffs. So I would go with Jokic, but I'm kind of 50-50 with the games rule just because, I mean, you have to miss a quarter of your season and not be able to hit the restriction or hit the requirement.
Yeah, so my thoughts on
yeah.
when you're talking about especially the 65-game rule, for MVP it makes sense, right? 69 of the last 70 MVPs have played 80% of the games, and that's what 65% is. It's that exact percentage. So all of those MVPs meet that. My problem is when you go a little bit farther down the line to Depoy, you're going to All-NBA third team. Because in my opinion, Jokic in 40 games is more impactful than an All-NBA third teemer who plays 80. Do you not agree? So
I agree with that.
It should be a sliding scale going down. For this MVP race specifically, it may hurt Jokic's chances. Only one game left to miss. But when I take a look, right, because I watched the OKC Thunder take on the Denver Nuggets head-to-head matchup, I see Denver's offense going through Jamal Murray, who had 39 points in that game. I see SGA, his first game back from injury after All-Star break, having 38 points, clearly the defining force of that offense. So you're taking a look at these two guys. We're going to see how it shakes out. Maybe the injuries play a part, but it's going to be a close one down the stretch. Now to Layla Shervon for an unexpected loss of a future football star. Layla?
That is right, Gabe. Heartbreaking news out of Colorado this week as the University of Colorado's quarterback Dominic Ponder tragically passed away early Sunday morning. Ponder died at just 23 years old after losing control of his Tesla. First responders arrived to the single-car crash in Boulder at around 3:10 a.m. and told their dispatch, quote, "driver unconscious, not breathing," end quote. State Patrol stated that the speed could have been a factor. The crash happened when Ponder tried to take a curved right-hand turn, swerved into an eastbound lane, plowed through a guardrail, then the Tesla struck an electrical pole, rolled down an embankment, and burst into flames. Ponder was a beloved part of his team, and many of his peers took to social media after his passing, including head coach Deion Sanders, writing, quote, "He was loved, respected, and a born leader. Let's pray for all that knew him and had the opportunity to be in his presence," end quote. Ponder was a native to the Miami, Florida area and received tributes from the University of Central Florida. With the Colorado University spring practice approaching, we will see some delays and a quiet campus as Dominic Ponder's name will be mourned. Now to Marcus Betts for a recap of the most recent WWE Premium Live event.
You got that right, Layla. The road to WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas, April 18th and 19th, is almost set, with title matches from SmackDown and Raw. Rhea Ripley and Randy Orton are your 2026 Elimination Chamber winners after a wild Saturday night in the Windy City. WWE's world title scene has come into focus. Rhea Ripley will face Jade Cargill, the current WWE Women's Champion on SmackDown. Liv Morgan will face Stephanie Vaquer, the current Women's World Champion on Monday Night Raw. Roman Reigns will face CM Punk, the current World Heavyweight Champion on Raw. Quote, "This main event is the most anticipated in the last decade," end quote, touted veteran commentator Michael Cole. Which leaves us with Randy Orton, who is waiting for the winner of the impromptu Undisputed Championship main event this Friday on SmackDown. This match came on the heels of a fiery altercation between SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis and despondent champion Drew McIntyre. McIntyre emphatically screamed, quote, "I'm the one who's constantly getting screwed," end quote. After being warned repeatedly to stop interfering in numerous #1 contender matches, Aldis finally had enough, forcing McIntyre to begrudgingly defend his title against Rhodes. Rhodes was unaware of the shakeup as he left the arena in disappointment after losing to Orton. You can watch the Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes matchup on SmackDown, 8 p.m. Friday on USA Network. Back to you at the desk, McKenna.
And that is all for your news this evening. After the break, we are back with our case of the week. Stay tuned. Take them, cue them, open their mics.
Today marked the 1-year anniversary of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette strike.
Point Park University just hosted a campus-wide meeting.
Plans for the rapid transit bus line are not set to conclude until 2025.
Welcome back. Let's Get Wild. Stars have been not only made in real arenas, but also Hollywood. I am joined by Ryan, Peyton, and Becca to debate who is the greatest fictional athlete of all time. Okay, I'm going to start with you, Becca. What are your thoughts?
Lightning McQueen.
Interesting.
Mic drop. 7-time Piston Cup champion. You can't beat that. You can't.
Well,
Well-
that's one take. Peyton.
I'm trying to think who was the old guy in Cars, number 43.
Doc.
Yeah, Doc.
Didn't he have 7 piston cups?
He has
as
a
well?
good amount.
So I mean,
But-
was he the best in his own sport? That's the interesting thing. Now, my guy is from the Rocky franchise, Apollo Creed, not Rocky himself. Here's why: Apollo Creed made Rocky into the fighter he was. Rocky had brick feet, and he was the only boxer in history to use his face for protection. Okay, so for defense. So Apollo, if it weren't for him, if he didn't train Rocky, he wouldn't have been able to beat Clubber Lang. He wouldn't have been able to beat Ivan Drago. And in that second fight, let's be honest, Apollo Creed dominated for like 13 rounds. And if he wouldn't have gone for the knockout, he would have won that unanimous decision. It wouldn't have even been close.
You know, I hear a lot of, if.
Yeah,
he
if
wouldn't
is a
have-
big
if he
word.
There's
wouldn't
ifs
If is a
because
big
of
word.
fiction. It's fiction.
No,
so they
there's-
had to set up for the good guy to
The
win.
movie is called Rocky.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
But
Creed is
who
a
was the
different
more
movie.
skilled fighter?
I've never seen the movie.
You know, it doesn't even matter about all that because I have one. He may not be from the Hollywood franchise, but let me tell you, everyone knows his name, Pablo Sanchez. This guy has been the dynasty of backyard sports since the inception of backyard sports. Give me baseball, give me basketball, give me football, give me any sport in the world. I want Pablo Sanchez because in these games, he's playing against actual athletes and he's dominating. He's dominating. It's not even close. Pablo Sanchez is an icon. Everyone knows when you want to go into those games, you want Pablo. That's the first pick you want on your team. Maybe when I was younger, I was like, all right, I'll take one of the real athletes. But, in hindsight, I really look at it. I see Pablo Sanchez and I'm like, now that's a GOAT right there.
You create quite an argument. I may have to rethink this. I don't know much about Pablo. I'll have to do my research.
Here's my pitch into the ring here. You think of all these sports, movies, all these different things. Here's the name I want you to think of. Forrest Gump. Three
Oh, that's a great
different
one.
sports.
That's a
He
great
is
one.
a kick returner and running back for Alabama. All American. He met JFK. Ping pong. U.S. Army ping pong champion. He plays internationally in China.
You have notes.
Guess what? I want to make sure I respect Forrest. Long distance running. He is the GOAT. He ran across America. Let me get this right. 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16 hours. I don't think any of your athletes can do 3 different things. And guess what? No training. He did it because he loves the game. All 3 games. That's my take.
Well, he was born.
No,
he was
listen.
born with a gift. I mean, that's a good point.
And
That's a good point.
And that gift allowed him, because he loves these sports, just to do it for fun. Just to do it for fun.
Apollo Creed, Lightning McQueen. I don't know about Pablo. I don't know about Pablo. They had to train to become great.
Exactly.
Forrest Gump was just born
Just
great.
pure athletic talent. Right
That's
there.
not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous. You know, I do think, you know, all three of you have very valid arguments there. You know, Gump, I really like the Gump pick because we have, you know, he's done 3 sports, but you know who did more than 3 sports? Pablo Sanchez. So you know what? It doesn't matter about any of all these feats. You can put Pablo Sanchez in any sport, he's dominating.
But
It's
did
not
he
even
beat
gonna be close.
JFK? I don't
That's
think so.
the question.
Did he beat JFK?
JFK, that's what we're leaving it up to,
Yes.
JFK?
He went to the
That's
White House
outrageous.
because
He's
he
not
was,
even a top 5 president.
He went to
Wow.
the White House because
That's
he
a
was
whole nother
all
debate.
American. Then went to war.
You know,
played
let me
ping
throw
pong.
out another person if we're throwing out Forrest Gump. How about Air Bud? How about Air Bud? All right, that's
love
a
Air
dog.
Bud, but
That's a dog. That's a dog scoring on everyone. Who else can have like that? If you want to talk about training, Air Bud. Now that's someone who really got through it.
I mean, okay, we went from a video game character who had a name, and now we're going to somebody that's not a real name. That's
Air
what is
Bud.
that?
That's his name. Look it up. Air Bud.
look it up.
Air Bud. I promise.
I
you,
think Air Bud's out of the equation.
That's
I'm
just-
sorry.
It's fine.
Well, I think Air Bud's a little more valid than Creed here.
Wow. You're disrespecting the master of disaster, the king of sting.
But
He's the best athlete in the movie.
But
He's the
but
best
it's not
boxer
called Creed,
pound for
it's called
pound.
Rocky.
It's called Rocky.
Well, there was a sequel called
But that's
Creed.
not him.
Did Rocky
That's-
Balboa have a son that was a world champion boxer? I don't think
We
so.
doing feats off of like who someone's son is? Come on now. Like what are we talking about?
It's genetics. He was born with the gene, and he trained to become a
But you
great
just
fighter.
said
He
that for
trained
Gump,
into
it was
it.
natural born talent. He was
Well,
just
and that's
born
why I'm
with
making
that.
the case for Creed too.
I don't.
And he had to train, of course, but like that quickness, that quick punch ability, it's hard to repeat.
Yeah, but could he run around the country in 3 years, 12 months, 14 days, and 16 hours?
If we want
No,
a
but
boxer, you know what? I'll throw it out there. I'll
Is
throw out
Forrest
Matt.
Gump
Matt from
catching-
Wii
Anybody
Sports.
for Wii Sports.
Is
Okay, I
Forrest
wouldn't say all
Gump catching
that.
Apollo Creed in a ring? I don't think so.
Listen,
Matt
we
would beat
never know.
anyone.
We never
That
know.
could be anyone.
Listen, I tell you, if you have that nunchuck and that controller, and you're going up against Matt, bro, you got to
You
turn
just
off
keep
the
pulling
system.
just names up. This
Because we
is
have
vote
to. Hey, listen.
1.
I'll keep
You're
with
coming up with
Pablo.
too many
I didn't know
candidates.
fictional characters that video games counted in this debate.
Are
I
they
didn't even
fictional?
know.
Anything counts.
I was just thinking movies, TV shows.
Pablo Sanchez could have his own TV show person. I think I would love to see that.
Who is this? Because I don't know who you're
Pablo
talking.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Backyard Sports. It's a
I
video
didn't
game
play
series.
many video
that-
games as a kid.
See,
Well, see, this is why he's not the GOAT, because we both don't know who he is.
That's just outrageous. That's just like this just can't be. You're picking someone that's not even like a true athlete.
Everyone knows Forrest Gump. Everyone knows Forrest Gump. They've seen Forrest. Have you all seen Forrest
I haven't
Gump?
seen Forrest Gump. Now what?
Oh,
Now
well, you
what?
just don't know the
Now what?
culture. You
Oh,
just don't know the
no. Because
culture.
if you don't know Pablo Sanchez, I'm allowed to not
Okay,
know
but Peyton
Forrest
doesn't
Gump.
know him either.
Peyton's like he's
I don't know many things. I don't know much at all.
He don't got internet. See, that's not his fault. He don't got
Well,
internet.
okay, well that's a little much.
No, listen, I promise you, Pablo Sanchez, you throw him out in any of these sports, it's game over.
Well, that's all the time we have this week. Be sure to join us next week at the same Pioneer time, the same Pioneer channel, and the same Pioneer sideline.